Hello, I'm Paul Galt. I'm a lifelong season ticket, or not season ticket holder, lifelong supporter of Nottingham Forest. Welcome to our podcast, which is called Separated Water, and this is episode 6. I hope you enjoy it.
Okay, thanks, Paul. My name's Colin Campbell. I'm a Spurs season ticket holder, usually from Drumahoe in Northern Ireland, but coming to you from, believe it or not, from Banff in Canada today. We're having a holiday. The weather here so far is good. I'm a little bit jet lagged, I think, so I may not know whether I'm blowing up our stuff, so please forgive me today. But anyway, just a reminder that our podcast is for absolutely everyone, although given the subject matter, it's probably of particular interest to those of us who live in the Emerald Isle, north or south, who support a team in England. Not necessarily Premier League, but probably most people do. So we want to hear from you. Any points you have, any comments you want to make on the podcast or anything really. And particularly those who maybe support a team that you maybe think nobody else actually follows. We'll be very grateful to hear from you too. Okay, Paul, your puzzler for this week.
Just by way of explanation, we were meant to have a guest on tonight, Kevin Kelly, who's a Man United supporter. Had loads of nice financial stuff researched, but it'll all keep to next week, so there's no problem. And I apologise, we're coming to you just to tie in with what you're doing, Colin. We were meant to be going live at 7:30, which is probably what we're going to do from now on, is around 7 o'clock, 7:30, because I've got some feedback of people saying that they can't really get involved in the comments while they're at work. But in the evening time, they probably would be able to do it. So, So you're in Canada. What is it to say about Canadians? They're Americans without guns.
Well, that's a good way of looking at it. It is strange sometimes because the accents are so American, but everything else really isn't. They're lovely people, I better say that. They have appetites like Americans, I can tell you. It's 10 o'clock in the morning here. I've just had my breakfast. I've been up. I didn't sleep that well. Still the excitement of the whole thing. We're in a Buffalo Mountain Lodge in Banff, which is very authentic. You feel you could reach out and touch the mountain. The air is clear, which is great. And I've just had a big feed and about 3 coffees.
So don't be falling asleep.
I know. I'll try not to.
Don't be falling asleep.
Okay. Well, Paul, I set my brain going. What this week's puzzler?
The puzzler for this week is we were talking about one club players. Duncan Ferguson, I thought he only ever played for Everton in the Premiership. If you know Colin, don't shout it out.
No, I'm not shouting no.
But Duncan Ferguson was almost a one club man in the Premiership. He played for Everton, left to go to another club, and then come back to Everton again. Yeah. I didn't know that. What was the name of the other team he played for? If you send that into us, drop us in the comments and see what you think.
Very good.
It was a surprise to me. Maybe you guys will all know it very easily, but
big Duncan Disorderly, I think he was known.
Yeah, absolutely. I just thought I'd put that up. There's only 4 teams unbeaten in the Premiership at the minute.
Thanks for that. That takes us probably into the emerging issues from the weekend's results in football. Okay, Paul. I think there's a clue in that caption. Anything you'd like to kick us off with on the weekend's results?
I'll just go through a couple of things. I spoke to Kevin when he realised that our times weren't going to match up.
Yeah.
And I said, would you tell us how you felt the game went? And he said, United started well, as they did. I watched part of the game myself. I watched most of it myself. They started really well. They should have been probably 4-0 up by half-time. But, and using Kevin's words, they just didn't take their chances. Scoring goals, it's getting an old habit of theirs not being able to score goals. So they drummed it out, and it really ended up the second half was a bit of a non-event, to be honest. So 0-0 it was, wasn't it? Yeah, 0-0. Yeah. Pretty poor game second half. First game was where all the chances were. I watched the Forest game. Forest. I thought we turned up at Brighton. I have to say, Colin, for the first time in my life, I feel, not my life, the first time in a long, long time, I feel that we're a Premiership team. The first year we come up, we were scrambling, and we couldn't get things together. But really, we were players. We didn't have a team. We didn't have a pre-season get together all the players. They were buying players left, right, and centre. Last year, something similar. We lost our manager, and Nuno didn't get a pre-season with them. And I feel that the pre-seasons really worked this season. We're playing as a team. As I said last week, we got a player for every position, and it showed on Saturday. I wouldn't have changed it. He made the substitutions at half time. We were 1-0 up. I don't know if you saw the game. We were 1-0 up, and at half time, we were 2-1 down.
Right.
Our keeper was shocking. He let in a free kick, set up a wall quickly, and then stayed behind the wall, and the ball went into his left-hand side. And it was a schoolboy error of a free kick conceded. But we come out. We fought. I'll not go into the red. I'll talk about that later on. We come out. We fought. We did get a red card. Callum Hudson-Odoi was sent off, and we had to basically just park the bus. But we did. We parked really well, and then we got a goal, and that was it. So it was a late, which is something we weren't doing last year. We've done it against Liverpool now. We've done it against Brighton. We've got the late goal and then held on. So we're showing a steely character, I'll discuss the VAR decisions later on. There was a couple at the weekend that I found. So that was one of them, was Morgan Gibbs White, but we'll talk about that in a bit.
Okay, so a good emerging issue there is for you to really say that Forest are not a Premiership team.
I think so. I think so. They're showing their depth and strength. Yeah.
There was a sequence of 2 away games. Liverpool away and Brighton away that on paper would have looked extremely difficult, and yet they've taken 4 points. Which is certainly very good. Okay. Any comment on Brighton?
I thought Brighton. I think Brighton are a good team. I think they're a very good team. I think they'll be up or about there if they're not in the top 6.
Yeah.
At this stage, I'm starting to hope we're in the top 6. I don't know if we're capable of it or not, but there's a long way to go. I know, but I'll just show you. There's a top 10 after week 5. Put up the full screen.
Thankfully, you went down to 10.
We're up to 10. You're up to 10. There we go. You never know. But Colin, you're shaking your head there, and I know myself that it's unlikely to happen that we get a European place. But we played 2 top teams, Brighton, and we played Liverpool.
Sorry, I wasn't shaking my head at Forest. No.
All right. I thought you were shaking it. I thought you were shaking.
No, I'm too old and smart to know not to do that.
Yeah. And by the way, I want to ask you a question. This is for you.
Okay.
And I'll not tell you the name of the team the guy plays for, but I was in the company of a guy on Thursday night, delusional. And I told him I'm going to be discussing this today. He believes that his team is the best in the world. Who do you think is the best domestic team in the world at the minute? Be honest.
Well, probably Real Madrid.
Right?
They're one to win the league. Then it's
couldn't
hard
argue with
because Manchester City have to be up there too, and they're playing more. I would argue that they're on a season basis, the games they play are more difficult than those played by Real Madrid. No offense to the Spanish league, but I think Barca and Real, and possibly Athletic and a couple of others, are strong. But I think that the bottom teams in England are stronger than the bottom teams in Spain, in my opinion. And I think their financial strength comparatively would bear that out. Who did he come up with?
Well, but I'll just say to you, I think Bayern Munich, although the league's weak in certain areas, he's a supporter of your favourite team, Arsenal. Sitting watching the match on Thursday night. Best team in the world, best centre back in the world, best keeper in the world. Ended up being the best draw in the world on Thursday night.
Talking. That's what I just keep talking that way, guys. Good luck with that one.
We have a comment in there from Coach Cal. Please don't talk about United. Sorry, Cal. We have to. We'll show you where you are there. You're not just quite in the top 10 yet, but Cal, you're going to come good. You're going to come good. These always do. I think that these will get your rhythm. I'd be interested to hear from any United supporters. Do you think you're going to keep your manager? Do you think he's going?
Yeah.
Do you think Deitch is safe now, Colin? Or is his?
Well, I've kind of my emerging issue. A couple of them really, probably one is about Everton with the ownership. issue, if they could do that quickly and get a January transfer window in place,
Yeah.
I think it's the only hope they have. I fear for Sean Dyche. I have a lot of time for him. One of the few English managers in the Premiership, but I've already read a couple of rumours. I think they're, new owners come in and they kind of want to put their own stamp on it. We've seen that in the Football League with teams like Birmingham sacking a good manager and bringing in Wayne Rooney, probably also a good manager. There's now with Plymouth, heavens above. And Southgate has been mentioned. I don't know about that. I tend to feel, as I've said before, over the last
for Everton or United, Southgate.
No, Southgate for Everton. This is the latest thing. Now,
well, he was chatted about. He was talked about for the Man United.
He talked about for anyone where a manager's under threat, he will be the one hovering above them.
Yeah.
I'd say if you were wanting a manager to get you out of trouble, you'd probably go to the likes of Sean Dyche. Maybe not Gareth Southgate, but they're probably already planning for the future. And Southgate, ex-England, is very attractive. It's a marquee name. Sean Dyche is more of a,
Coach Cal says Rude will have the job by January. I think he was brought in there for a reason, to look over his shoulder. We've discussed that. I would tend to agree with you. But and thanks for the chat, guys. Keep it coming. Here, one final question, Colin. I didn't mention this to you earlier. We're going to chat about it. West Ham. Do you think West Ham are regretting getting rid of David Moyes?
Maybe not. I think that they wanted a change of style, and they're very seduced by the guy. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name. He was with Wolves. He was regarded to have done well at Wolves, and he left because he says he wasn't given. Sorry, the promises that were made to him weren't kept. I don't know, obviously, but I understand what he was saying. Wolves did lose a few players then. It may take a bit of time. It's not going how West Ham would have hoped or envisaged just yet. But I think it takes time. I think during the Christmas January period, by the end of January, we'll have a better idea. I think we'll have a better idea of all the things we're talking about. That's what these are issues that
I know.
Emerge,
First 5 games are nothing. Although I'm taking great solace for where we are afterwards.
Well, you can't take the points away. You've got the points in the bag. A couple of issues that emerged for me, really, very briefly. One is that I think we're no further on about the United conundrum than we were 5 games ago. I honestly believe. I think United have managed to tell us nothing about themselves as yet.
Yeah.
I think with Spurs, 2 wins in a week, and what? And people will go, "Oh, you're awful, glass half empty." I'm not. I'm old, and I'm tired, and I want to win something. Simple as that. Big Ange and all that. I never look. I love the team dearly. I love them. I spend a fortune. I love the players. I love the manager. I think the problem is elsewhere. I've always said that. There's an old saying in management: a snake rots from the head down. And I think that's where where we possibly are now. The talk of a buy-in, I don't know. I'll say no more about that today. Probably plenty of weeks to do that. A couple of other emerging issues are Arsenal, the business. I think they produced a side of themselves against Spurs and against City, which tells me that they are.
Yeah, I agree.
It was a statement that I used last week, where teams can find a way to win. Now that be find a way to win or find a way to draw. Now, it wasn't smart giving a goal away in the 7th or 8th minute of injury time. Having said that, it was away at City. And when they reflect on that, 4 points from 2 away games that were difficult is a good return. And my last emerging issue, worryingly, is Chelsea. We've talked about them.
Oh, they're going to come good.
They're looking good. I said they would come good. If you recall, if you go back to the podcast, I just wish it hadn't been so soon.
As they say in Hollywood, they're locked and loaded, and I'm telling you now, their capability of scoring goals, they're top 4 all day long, all year long. They're going to be top 4.
They're looking good, and my brother
Jackson's scoring goals.
Yeah,
for fun now.
So
as
probably
well.
get a Chelsea fan on soon. I hopefully will be away that week. But anyway, okay. So that for me are some of the emerging issues and some of the things we just.
One thing you said there that I wanted
Yeah.
to correct you on was that you
Right.
said once you've got points, they can't take them off you. They did last year.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah. Well, yeah.
I'm not
Thank
sure
you
about
for
that at all.
Oh, thank you for the correction on that. That's absolutely true.
Yeah,
And that is a good
and
point.
and
And that will come up in weeks to come, obviously, with the Man City thing going on. But before you get excited about that, we could move on.
yeah,
Our predictions are. Could you put? Were you able to put up the top 10 again?
the top 10 are
Yeah, I
there.
mean, we were Aston Villa. Or I don't think I had them in there. I had Man United, who and I talked them down. I talked them about 8. So they're where they are. Forest, we both had in bottom half. Newcastle probably, are okay, although they did lose at the weekend, and maybe a wee bit of reality coming in there. Probably the old faithfuls are stacking up at the top. Down at the bottom, Wolves. I like Gary O'Neill an awful lot, but it's not looking too good. Ipswich are better than I expected. Only 3 points, So, for my predictions, only one of them is there at the minute. So
Yeah,
interesting.
long way to go. But I just feel when you look at West Ham, 2 years in a row in Europe, won a cup. The fans wanted him out, David Moyes out, and now they've got their wish, and they're sitting rock bottom at the bottom with joint bottom with 1 point.
It's this, this thing about I think about foreign managers, if you will. Foreign managers who aren't from the United Kingdom or Ireland, okay? They must be better. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But the proliferation of them over the last 20 years, I think, has killed the supply of local managers to a large extent, and it gives them they do seem more professorial than our own guys. Sometimes the way they talk, or maybe it's the accent or the way they pronounce certain words and things, it makes them sound more intelligent than we do, frankly. Yeah. Whether they are or not, I don't know. I'm not sure.
You hear them chatting there.
The of the world, the Mourinho's of the world, the Klopps of the world, obviously add a lot to that. The trophies they've won, and fair play to them. But
we have a comment in there from Kevin, who's meant to be with us. He's unironic, can't do it. Wait until Chelsea starts Sancho, the goals will try up, lads. I don't agree. I think he's playing well, and I think he'll actually come good for you. I think he's going to come good for Man United. From what I've seen of him, very impressed. Very impressed.
Very good. Very good. Yeah. To answer your question, sorry for a waffle on. I don't think West Ham are regretting Moyes at the minute, but like a couple of other teams, maybe December, January, we'll need to see where they are. I always think of West Ham are being realistic, and I know a number of Iron fans, they largely are. I think West Ham will pitch themselves for a cup this year. I think they'll have a go at a cup, and I admire that and I endorse that. That's what I would like us to do. Okay. We're moving on to
Emerald Eye. We've got somebody first.
Yeah. Kevin Kelleher, the Liverpool goalkeeper, can we say?
Yeah.
Goalkeeper or reserve goalkeeper, and that therein lies the issue. Cork born, Paul.
Yeah.
I think 25 years of age now, so he's no spring chicken in that sense. Some of the things about him, he scored a penalty in the League Cup final, so he's obviously confident enough of a guy. I think he's a very good goalkeeper. I think he's a business. He's an international already. Things I like about him, he's a good scrambler. He's not afraid. He will come through players to get to the ball. And it's probably a problem for him is, of course, that he's back up to a legend, probably our legend in the making, Alisson. He was also, believe it or not, for the Spurs connection, the unused substitute in the 2019 Champions League final, the result of which escapes me just at the moment. He's under contract to 2026, and probably from Emerald Eye's point of view, it's nice to be able to celebrate somebody in such a high position, i.e. playing for Liverpool in big matches and internationals. And really, what does he do?
It's a hard one. He was linked with Forest. Well, Forest were linked with them. He wasn't linked with Forest. Not sure whether Liverpool didn't want to let him go. I don't know what happened, but at the close of the transfer window, Forest were certainly sniffing around because I think that's the one way we need a striker. And on that, we've only announced 24 of a squad. We've left one position clear, and I think that's for striker. I think they've got their eye on somebody for a striker who's obviously outside contract, but we'll wait and see how that develops. Back to Kelleher, he started for Liverpool on Saturday or Sunday. Was it Saturday? I think he played well. I just watched the highlights. He distributes the ball incredibly well. And is he going to sit there and just accept second place? I don't know. I think he's better than that. I think he should get a first position, and waiting and Alisson recovering, maybe he'll prove himself in that time. I don't know.
Yeah, well, here's hoping. You know, goalkeepers, I think, if they're not playing in the Premier League week in, week out, do lose something. I do believe that. I think, you know, I don't want to name any names, but I think there's evidence for that. I admired Ramsdale for leaving Arsenal and going to Southampton, a player who gives me the yips normally, but I applaud what he's done. People tell me I'm wrong. I happen to think he's at least as good as Raya, but what would I know? But that may be a dilemma facing this guy Keegan in the future. But I wish him well. And Emerald Eye says, "Well done, son." And
well done indeed.
Keeper lit.
Yeah, well done. Who do you think is the best keeper in the league
at the minute?
I know I'm off the hip with that, but no, it's just Martinez.
Yeah, I mean, probably. You know, he's probably more shots to save. It would be also. I think when Alisson's playing, he's good. Now, what's good about him? Against United, he had nothing to do, and then all of a sudden produced a couple of great saves. I always admire that, when you kind of have to keep that level of concentration going. You know, the Martinez of the world had, I think, with more shots to save. They're very, very good scrambler, good shot stopper, commands the box, all of those things. Probably on edge, because a couple of the others probably just sort of lost it a wee bit. So we'll go Martinez just at the moment.
Aina had an amazing second save. A double save on Saturday or Sunday, was it again? Saturday. You watch so much football over the weekend, you'd lose track. But just looking at the thing, there are a few in there about Kelleher. Kelleher was a striker for Ring Mahon and Cork League, hence why he's good with his feet.
Right. Okay. Well, yes, Kevin.
And then there's another one from Kelleher's definitely top 10 club. I agree with that, Cal. Definitely, he's a top 10 player, and I don't think he'll stay. I don't think he'll stay with Liverpool as a second keeper. I think he'll move on.
Well, Emerald Isle will keep following because we're great to see the players from the Emerald Isle doing well. That's part of our focus, and we'll continue with that, and we'll keep an eye on him. And although he plays for Liverpool, we'll wish him all the best. Okay. Just a
reminder there about the question. Duncan Ferguson, please don't Google, guys, if you're looking at it. And I know a lot of you watch this retrospectively and put in your comments retrospectively. Send them in to us. It's always interesting. We know that you're doing it. We're an average between the live as it goes out and then when I upload the other one, we're getting an average of about 80 or 90 views every week. So thanks for that. So everybody's very quiet and very silent on it. Please send us in your comments. Take part with us. That's why we're here. We want a bit of crack. So we'll give you that at the end anyway. Okay.
Fantasy League.
Well, I actually I'll put it up. And I'm going to put it full screen, Colin, so I'll just do a bit of talking there. Tim Houston, who was our first guest on Separated by Water, is sitting in the league, 393 points. I can't get points. I just can't. I'll show you where I am in a minute. Shane Robinson was Sun in 60 seconds. John Hart, one Hag, two Hag, which are great names. And this brought up a conversation the other night we had. There's one there where Under My Cucurella, I play on the Rihanna song. Every time they mention his name on TV now, I hear that damn song, Under My Number, and it's just driving me mad. But anyway, so we'll maybe look at the names and just say, so there's Real Chelsea, not very Beanie Boys. That's Beanie's nickname.
I'm just above you.
Sorry?
I'm just above you.
You are just above me. But 247 points. I don't know. Can you make a lot of points in a week?
I played one game for you as well.
You have. But I was very unlucky in that I.
Of course you were.
No, well, I had your man that's away to Saudi. I always forget his name.
Tony.
Played for Brentford.
Tony.
Had him in for my striker at the beginning. He didn't play. Brought him out. Put Ollie Watkins in. He didn't score.
No.
Bring him out again. Put in Salah. Forrest locked them down, thankfully. But then again, I didn't get Salah no points with him. Then Morgan Gibbs-White on Saturday gets sent off. Can't get a break. I can't get a break with it. But what I was going to say there, Colin,
will be after you. I was saying, keep going on like that. Spurs will be looking for you.
Yeah, as a selector.
I think we're both going to get a vote of confidence from our respective chairmen at the minute.
Yeah. But what I'll do is, I was just looking at all the names. If we maybe people, majority of people that are on here are in the league anyway. Stick up who you think's got the best name for it. There are some interesting, funny names there for.
Very good.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
Will I moan now? Will I?
We're going to note of concern.
Well, I'm back to VAR.
Okay, let's go.
We managed to get into episode 5 and hardly a mention of VAR. VAR this week. Well, there was 2. One, your keeper was a yard outside his box, and
that's rare.
Yeah, and he touched the player. He touched the ball a yard outside his box, and nothing done about it. But anyway, my big problem is, of course, it's going back to the Forest game. Morgan Gibbs-White went in for a tackle. He was on a yellow, and he got the ball first, and he did take it. And I'm going to preface with what I'm going to say is that he got the ball first. He took the player with him, and the referee initially went, he got the ball. He got the ball.
Okay.
Referee being Rob Jones, and then Anthony Taylor, who was downgraded this week to a linesman,
right?
Because he handed out 14 red cards, a record, or 14 yellow cards. At Bournemouth Chelsea last week, the Bournemouth Chelsea game. So he was downgraded. So he's put in the line. So Taylor or Rob Jones has done this. Taylor calls him over, which I understood you weren't allowed to do. If it's a yellow card, it can't be upgraded. It wasn't a yellow card. He said he got the ball. Next thing, he produces another yellow off the back of what Anthony Taylor said. Don't forget, Anthony Taylor's the guy who denied us 3 penalties last year against Everton. I know, sounds conspiracy, but he denied us the penalties, 2 of which were apologised for on the Monday morning. PMGO, whatever you call them. But I just think, I don't know. It's very frustrating. Very frustrating. Now we don't have Morgan Gibbs-White for the next game against Fulham. Our whole team is arranged around him. Elliot Anderson's proven as a good substitution for him, so hopefully it'll all work out. But anyway, that's my cause for concern.
VAR is an issue for you, and I've been at games. And last season I could do the usual Spurs. My equivalent was saying, well, we were 1 up against Chelsea. We had a goal disallowed. Had we have been 2 up, would the rest of the things happened, which involved Romero being sent off, Van den Ven, Madison being injured, our ludicrous high line, and conceding 4 goals. And VAR, I was wondering if we could get home on the same night as the match kicked off with so many VAR decisions. However, what I would say is, in principle, I like the idea of VAR to be able to, and my impression was that it would be able to give the correct decision on matters that the referee either wasn't entirely sure or would have benefited from another view. It's a 3-dimensional game, and the referees have to be eyes in the back of the head and everything. But there are what it's highlighting probably is, as you've said, where referees are making mistakes. But in a way, what you said about the Spurs goalkeeper is that VAR didn't intervene to say that he handled the ball outside his area.
Yeah,
if he handled the ball outside his area and there was no goal scoring opportunity, I think he just get a yellow card for handball. I didn't see that, so can't comment any further than that. But
it was a yard. It was a yard outside. It was a yard outside your box. But look, anyway, this guy isn't fit to referee Sunday league football. So he's not, in my opinion.
You're very hard, but we'll see. Look, I mean, referees. I'll have games. I tend to try to sympathise with them. One thing I hear is the pundits coming on TV, all armchair experts, and the white and the referee. 1 week they want consistency, and consistency is the key word. 2 weeks later they want referees to use their initiative. Which is it? I think refereeing a match will be very, very hard, and they need all the help they can get.
But I agree with everything you're saying. The pundits love to take a batter at them.
Yeah.
But if the ref who saw it, he was there, does this, he got the ball.
Yes.
And then somebody else is able to change his mind. He shouldn't do that. He shouldn't do it because you're not allowed to. VAR, as I understand it, is not allowed to get involved unless a card is shown.
Okay, well, on the technical side, I will not argue with you about that. As far as I understand, VAR can intervene to say, if you saw what we saw, you would change your mind.
Yeah.
And that's there to protect the integrity of the game, obviously, and for the referee to be, to say, big enough, but because it's like they say in golf, the rules are there to help you. So if the referee goes and says, right, okay, I thought he got the ball totally, but now I see from that angle, blah blah blah. I'm now changing my opinion. It should be a better world as a result of that. But it needs to be.
I know
we need more work. And
I've listened to people complain of VAR before, and it does sound like a moaning thing. It does. There's no doubt about it. Anyway, we'll go to our predictions, Colin. The weekend. I'm going to ask the guys because that's 2 United supporters listening to us. What's your predictions for the weekend? United have got. You've got Spurs. You guys. And Kevin's coming on with us next week, so that'll be an interesting one. So you give me your predictions first. Spurs United.
I think it could be a match where each team's trying to hand the game to each other. I don't officially make predictions about Spurs. I'm superstitious that way.
Well, I'm afraid you're going to have to. If you're doing this every week, you have to. Come on, give us a score. You can't be sitting in the fence.
I think the game has draw.
A draw.
Yeah,
will there be goals?
No good day, yeah. No good day.
Will there be goals?
I think with those 2 teams, there have to be. I think they're set up to help the other team score. I hope that Spurs show a bit of intent. I hope that they show a bit of belly and stomach for this and go at United. I really do. That's what I hope anyway. Okay, so
Kevin is saying that United is going to win 2-1.
Okay.
He also said earlier that Tony was a bad bet. Fergus Harrington is saying 2-2 draw.
Well, there we are.
I think a draw. My head was going towards a draw.
Okay.
There's Kevin's there.
Oh, Kevin thinks Spurs are going to win.
No, I think he means United. Sure, Spurs are at home, aren't they?
No, Spurs are away.
All right. Well, then he means, yeah.
If that's what he means, then.
He does. Sorry, I was looking at last week. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he's saying Spurs are going to win 2-1. I can tell you. He is not happy with the United.
No, I think that's what you call a double bluff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I tend to agree.
So 2 for a draw and 1 for Spurs win. I find it hard to believe.
Yeah.
What about Forest?
Forest, just to finish off in United, Carl said 2-0.
2-0, yeah.
100% United winning 2-0. United.
Okay.
Forest, we're home to Fulham. We've been away for 2 games against tough teams, very tough teams, and we've managed to get a win and a draw. And I feel, I looked at the stats for Fulham today. They're struggling a bit, but they're a good team. They've got
the one at the weekend, they beat Newcastle at the weekend, and I think they've been promising to do that. I think their performances have been better than the results.
Yeah.
I think Marco Silva has had a number of years now to get it right. Now, they're always in danger of losing players, but Fulham are one of those teams you couldn't dislike.
Yeah.
From a part of London that's beautiful. And, everyone says, well, you sort of forget they're there. I hope there's not a sting in the tail there for you.
Yeah. Well, I think we're going to win it 2-1. I think we can win it. I'll be honest with you. I don't want a point at the minute. I want the 3 points on Saturday and keep ourselves cemented up there above trouble.
I go for it. Draw for me. One each. Okay, Paul.
Nobody sent in any ending about the team, but they'll all have Googled anyway. But about Duncan Ferguson. Any last minute? Anything last to say, Colin? But I'll leave it to the last minute.
Well, Duncan Ferguson. Do you want me to? I think I have the answer.
Go ahead.
I think it was Newcastle United.
It was. It was
Yeah, I
Newcastle.
remember Big Duncan.
I don't remember that.
No, I do
don't
remember that. And I remember a very funny guy called Gordon Smith, who spoke at the Coleraine Football Club annual dinner one year I was there. Gordon Smith was, and Smith must score from the 1983 FA Cup final, when of course he didn't score. He's a very gifted public speaker, and he does a hilarious send-up of Duncan Ferguson. I think if Duncan knew, he'd probably punch his head in, but I always remembered that. Yeah, he went to Newcastle for a while and got back to Everton. Big Dunk, good man. Okay,
What do you call the wee guy? What do you call the wee guy that does soccer AM with the long hair?
I know what you mean. Played for Wigan at the time. Was looking up at him. With
Yeah,
the big yeah. He's like Jimmy Clear.
He was waiting on him. He was waiting on him in the tunnel to get off.
Yeah.
Anyway, I enjoyed that. That was good crack. Anything else to finalise with, Colin? No.
Nothing for me. I will be liaised with you. I'll still be in Canada next week, but I'll be keeping an eye on the football and the scores as always. There's quite a lot of interest in the soccer here, particularly the Premiership. And remember, Canada is co-host of the next World Cup, so I'd like to see a wee bit of. I saw quite a few soccer posts as I was driving up from Calgary yesterday. So certainly at schools level, and there's a lot of interest. Okay, nothing more from me.
Okay.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for setting up. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. I just want to say thanks, guys, for jumping in the comments. It makes it feel all that much better. Whenever we've got some people joining in with us. Just a final look at that there. The only 4 teams unbeaten in the
Thank you very much
season. 2 of them are contenders for the league, or maybe all 4 are contenders for the league. Who knows?
All 4 currently are,
You never know. All right, guys. Many thanks for joining us, Colin. Thanks very much. Enjoy your holiday, we'll speak to you. We're going to aim for around 7:30 next Tuesday evening, and I hopefully see you then. Everybody stay safe, and we'll talk to you then. Thanks for joining us.
Cheers. Bye-bye.